Today, we talk about man's purpose to himself and the world through a societal context, okay? So, it's a man's mission to himself, to become a respected, handsome, charismatic millionaire so he can live life how he wants. You see, no one's going to come give you the six-pack abs, $1 million bank account, charisma skills, or social respect you're looking for. It's your responsibility, if you want these things, to get them for yourself. And you know that. You know that if you're starting from scratch, it's going to take dedication, consistency, and time. You need to be patient with yourself. You need to forgive yourself for past failures or wasted time if they're still haunting you. And you need to make a promise to yourself to change once and for all. And that's only possible when you've cultivated internal strength traits by putting yourself out there in the real world and going through experiences, which is the perfect transition. Because while it's the man's mission to himself to become a respected, handsome, charismatic millionaire, it's a man's mission to the world to become internally strong. In other words, an entitled leader that's disciplined and stoic. An entitled leader who's disciplined and stoic. Something I go in great detail on in my previous video, Our Human Bodies Love blank. Have any of you ever seen Dateline or Snapped? The program is full of real criminal cases and actual trials that happen in America. If you've ever watched it, or if you ever go and watch it, you will see a clear pattern for the men that are featured in these stories. The male perpetrators of murder always have the same thought processes. And most of the male victims have the same pattern in mindsets as the male perpetrators, believe it or not. They all share extreme insecurities and internal emotional weakness. The weak victim who let his wife and sometime even her lover walk all over him until he is killed because he never stood up for himself or removed himself from the situation. Or the weak-minded man who couldn't deal with rejection or a dissolving marriage, or was too emotionally weak to control his sadistic desires. So he lets his emotions get the better of him and he kills his wife, a random, etc. Believe it or not, most of these men come across to the world as good Samaritans. But really, they're what people in Western civilization colloquially refer to as nice guys. You see, the irony of their name is perfect, because nice guys, most of the time, aren't really nice guys. They have a lot of natural internal desires that they never ever have satisfied because they are so goddamn weak. And they have been beaten down so far by life in one way or another that all they know how to do is be nice. In other words, put other people's needs before their own because that's what they have done their whole life. They carry a lot of insecurities. They're very fragile mentally. And they have no confidence in themselves to get what they want in life. In fact, they often hate themselves in their own life. Nothing is scarier in this world than a nice guy a people-pleasing man. And this is a massive problem in Western society, as there are more nice guys running around than there are real grounded men who can capably get what they want in life because they have a winner's mindset and have been cultivating masculine traits that are required to be a good leader and good, productive man for the world. America, the country I live in, becomes more lawless by the day because we have lost the internally strong, emotionally persuasive men who say no to the bad shit in this world and the things that are wrong for society. Instead, we worship men who can't control their emotions and live for pleasure, or men who literally don't contribute anything to society. Usually, this is a combination of both, like an actor, a rapper, and even some athletes. But let's be real. These men are so thirsty and hungry that they will literally agree with anything to be with a woman, which is ironically why they aren't getting in relationships they want with women. And most of the time, they can't even get out of bed or get motivated to do something because they have no passion. They're dead inside. They have passion for video games and Netflix, or they have passion for the bar and Saturday night instead of real, meaningful thing for the world. Now, to be a stronger society, we need to instill masculine characteristics into our male youth and punish and shun men who are emotionally weak and do emotionally weak things. And, of course, we need to give informational resources to these weak men and our youth so they can become a strong, productive man who can get what he wants in life and doesn't have to be a nice guy. And really become somebody that contributes something meaningful to society. It's your responsibility to the world and as society, as a man, to be an entitled leader who's disciplined and stoic. An entitled leader. I'm selfish with my time and what I want with my time. I act like a king and treat myself like a king. Believe my way's the best way, so there's no reason to ever explain myself to anyone. And if there's a woman in front of me, I assume she loves and respects me. Disciplined. I'm present in the moment and put my priorities first before all forms of leisure. Remember, action is what our human body loves. You need to be present. Listen to the last video. I'm courageous. I do what's best for my progression because I'm fearless and assertive. I'm direct and straightforward with my communication. And I say whatever's on my mind or whatever must be said, no matter how it makes myself or another person feel. And finally, I'm decisive. Once I make a decision from a leadership position, I stick to it and make it happen, no matter how it makes myself or another person feel. Stoic. My mind and my actions. The thoughts I think in my head, and the actions I take with my body are the only things that I can control in this world. Therefore, I put my self-respect and long-term success over my emotions and my desires. Become an entitled leader who's disciplined and stoic, as described, and you won't believe the changes you see in your own internal happiness. And you also love how differently the world treats you because you're now carrying yourself as a man who's confident, competent, and strong. Okay? Book a one-on-one call with me, and I'll give you my framework on how to develop your entitledness, discipline, and emotional control while you're working on becoming a respected, handsome, charismatic millionaire. So you can be an internally masculine man who gets what he wants in life.